Would you get a prostate exam if you didn't have to go through what bothers you so much? What if I told you that there is already a completely different method and that almost no one talks about it? This is no joke. This is not a theory. This is a real, modern, painless alternative, and it can save your life without you having to go through the dreaded physical exam. But why is this information still being hidden from so many men? How many have stopped taking care of themselves simply out of fear, shame, or embarrassment? And the scariest thing, how many ended up finding out too late? This video is not just a warning, it is a revelation, because there is a new, silent, almost secret way capable of detecting prostate problems with much more comfort and, in some cases, with even more precision. But what is behind the silence surrounding this exam? Why does almost no one talk about it in doctors' offices, in prevention campaigns, in conversations among friends? There is something wrong with the way this information is being omitted, and you need to know about it now. Today, you will understand why so many men have avoided early diagnosis, even though they know that prostate cancer is one of the leading causes of death in Brazil. You will discover what modern medicine has already created and why they still try to convince you that there is only one way. Get ready. The truth may be uncomfortable, but it is exactly what can free you from pain, fear, and irreversible consequences. Because when your health is at stake, what you don't know can be what destroys you. How many lives could be saved if the right information arrived before the fear? How many fathers, grandfathers, husbands, and sons would not be fighting a silent disease if they had discovered that there is another way to take care of themselves? The problem is that many only seek help when it is too late, and all because of a taboo. But the truth needs to be told. Because when shame speaks louder than prevention, the losers are you, your family, your future. This channel was created with a purpose: to break the silence that makes so many men sick and reveal paths that can restore security, health, and peace. Sign up now, because here you will find out what no one had the courage to tell you. The silent trauma that keeps millions from early diagnosis. There are things that men keep so deep down that they don't even realize it. And when it comes to health, especially something as intimate as the prostate, this silence becomes a ticking time bomb. Most people don't even realize how much the fear of an exam can shape their decisions. It's not just fear of pain or discomfort. It's the feeling of being invaded, of losing control, of feeling exposed. Many grew up listening to jokes, creating blocks, transforming a simple medical examination into something that carries shame, humiliation, even embarrassment. And that's why so many men put off the exam. They pretend that everything is fine, and they cling to any excuse to avoid what deep down they know they need to face. But while the man runs away, the disease doesn't stop. It grows silently, without giving any signs in the early stages. When it starts to show signs, it's because it's already advanced. And then what was just prevention turns into despair, aggressive treatment, surgery, hospitalization, and in many cases, the total loss of quality of life, all because a small fear was ignored in the past. And that's when the world needs to start looking at this problem more seriously. The fear of prostate exams is no joke. It's a real obstacle that prevents millions from taking care of themselves, from living longer, from living well, and no one talks about it as deeply as they should. Maybe no one has ever told you this, but feeling this blockage is more common than it seems. You're not alone, but ignoring it won't solve it. Running away won't protect you. The only thing that can change this fate is knowledge. Knowing that there are alternatives. Knowing that your body needs to be taken care of. That your life matters. That your role in your family can't be interrupted by something preventable. And that's why this video needs to be watched until the end. Because you're about to discover something that can completely change the way you view your health. The truth is that no one wants to deal with the word cancer. And no matter how much we talk about prevention, there are still many people treating it as if it were optional, as if you could leave it for later. But later may never come, or it may come too late. Can you imagine how many families have been destroyed because someone put off a simple exam? How many wives have been widowed? How many children have grown up without a father because he preferred not to deal with it now? This is no exaggeration. It is the reality of thousands of Brazilians every year. And that is why this channel exists, to break this cycle, to talk from man to man, to show that taking care of the prostate has nothing to do with weakness. It has to do with courage, courage to face it, to get informed, to act before it is too late. And if you are here, it is because you have already taken the first step. And I want to congratulate you for that. Because not just anyone can face this issue head on. But now that you are here, you need to go all the way. And don't leave without commenting. Because I want to know, do you know anyone who is afraid of taking the exam? Or have you yourself ever felt this discomfort just thinking about the procedure? Right here in the comments. Enough of fear, I want to live longer. This helps the algorithm spread this video to more people who need to hear it. And more importantly, it could be the push someone needed to finally take care of their own health. Now I'm going to reveal to you a modern, precise, and much more comfortable way to take care of your prostate without having to touch it. The technology that detects changes in the prostate without a single touch. And with greater precision, there's something that no one told you. An exam that doesn't require touching, that doesn't expose, that doesn't embarrass. A real alternative that is already being used in serious clinics, and that can change everything when it comes to prostate health. And the most absurd thing is that even though this option exists, most men still believe that the only way is the one that generates so much fear. But that's changing. And now you'll understand how this change can be the key to saving thousands of lives without trauma, without pain, and without that psychological barrier that prevents so many from acting in time. Medicine has advanced, and along with it, exams have emerged that can identify changes in the prostate with high precision, and the best part, without having to stick your finger in. Among them is multiparametric magnetic resonance imaging, an imaging technology that shows in detail the structure of the prostate gland from the inside, without requiring any physical contact. It's as if the machine looks inside and detects any signs of problems before symptoms even appear. All of this is safe, fast, and comfortable. You lie down, relax, the machine does the work, and that's it. No embarrassment, no touching. Just technology in favor of your life. Another important method that many people are unaware of is the free and total PSA with ratio index. You may have heard of PSA, but what few people know is that with these new parameters, doctors can have a much clearer view of the health of the prostate gland, including detecting early changes that would go unnoticed in standard exams. And the best part, it's a simple blood test. That's right, a blood test that can give you a powerful answer about your risk of developing prostate cancer without having to undergo any invasive procedure. And there's also the transabdominal ultrasound done through the abdomen. It also allows you to see the prostate in detail, especially its size, and whether there are any changes that need to be investigated. It is not the most complete exam in the world, but it is an excellent starting point, especially for those who are afraid of doing the traditional exam. And believe me, it is better to start with it than to do nothing, because the danger is not only in the exam, the danger is in the silence, in the wasted time, in the disease that hides until it is too late. These exams already exist, they are being used, and no, they are not inaccessible as many people think. In many cases, the SUS itself can refer you for MRI. In other cases, popular clinics offer the complete PSA test for an affordable price. The problem is not the price, it is the lack of information. It is the fear that paralyzes. It is the shame that prevents men from opening up. And that is why this conversation needs to happen. You have the right to know that there is more than one way to take care of yourself, and that your body, your health, and your life deserve attention now. The question is, why have you never heard this so clearly before? Why isn't this content shared in prevention campaigns? Why do they continue to push the traditional exam as if it were the only way out? Are you noticing? Something is wrong here, and this omission is costing lives. But now you know, and no one can convince you that there is no alternative. If you are over 40 or know someone who is, it's time to act, to seek it out, to investigate. Because today, science is already on your side. All that's missing is for you to be there too. Now answer me honestly. Did you already know that there was a no-touch prostate exam? Had you heard about these alternatives? Or was this where you found out about it for the first time? Comment below. Now I know, and I'm going to take care of my health. Your comment may awaken another man to overcome his fear and take precautions. And together, we can save lives. Now I'm going to reveal to you the shocking reason why these alternatives continue to be hidden from the general public, and what lies behind this frightening silence. The conspiracy of silence. Why didn't they tell you about this before? Have you ever stopped to think about why almost no one talks about these new ways of taking care of the prostate? If the no-touch test exists, is reliable, and is already available in many places, why are they still pushing the most uncomfortable, embarrassing method on you, which out of fear has kept so many men away from getting their own diagnosis? The answer may be more frightening than it seems. And what's worse, you may be one of the thousands of victims of silent misinformation that is costing lives year after year. Let's be blunt. There is a vicious cycle within public and private healthcare, a system that often repeats the same protocol simply because it has always been that way. Many doctors, due to lack of updates or even complacency, continue to recommend only the touch test, as if it were the only option. And there's more. When there is no pressure from society, when men themselves no longer demand more knowledge, the system becomes complacent. No one moves, no one informs, no one tells you that there is another option, and you, without knowing anything, continue to believe that you have no choice. But is it just carelessness? Or is there something more going on? When you start to realize that there are no educational campaigns explaining these modern options, when you see that on TV and radio programs, the only message that is repeated is, get a vaginal exam, without any effort to make it more accessible, you start to understand that perhaps silence is more convenient than you imagine, because educating people is hard work. Informing requires preparation. Facing taboos requires courage, and unfortunately, not everyone is interested in this. Now imagine the following. How many men could have been saved if they had known that there was an alternative to vaginal exam? How many would have gone to the doctor sooner, had the right exam, discovered the problem early, and treated it successfully? But no, they were pushed down a single path, and out of fear, they didn't follow it. The result? Advanced disease, aggressive treatments, and in many cases, death. All because someone back then decided that it was better to keep people in ignorance than to make room for evolution. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is reality. And perhaps the saddest thing of all is to realize that it is not always bad faith. Many times, the problem is the lack of up-to-dateness of the professionals themselves. The truth is that many doctors do not keep up with the developments in modern urology. And so, because they are not fully familiar with these new technologies, they simply do not offer this option to their patients. Or worse, some even know about them, but underestimate how much fear of touch can hinder a man's life. They do not see psychological issues as a real barrier. And this, unfortunately, is costly. You have the right to information. You have the right to choose. And no one can push you into a procedure without first showing you all the alternatives. This is called respect. This is called care. And this is exactly what you start to achieve when you choose to get informed. When you seek knowledge about your health, no one can manipulate you with fear anymore. No one can use silence as a weapon against your life anymore. And now, I want to know what this caused you. Did you also feel this indignation when you realized that this information was hidden for so long? Comment below. I will never accept living in the dark again. Your comment could be the wake-up call that another man needed. It could be the moment when someone decides to change the course of their own story. Now I'm going to reveal to you the conclusion of this revelation, with a call to action that can transform lives and show you how you can be part of the change from now on. Now you know. Prostate exams no longer need to be a reason for fear, shame, or embarrassment. Medicine has evolved, technology has advanced, and today there are modern, comfortable, and highly effective methods to take care of your health without having to go through what scares you the most. The promise I made to you at the beginning of this video was simple: to show you that there is another way. And now you've seen that it's true. You've received the information. You've discovered that you're not stuck on one path. And that, in itself, already puts you ahead of millions of men who still live in the dark. From now on, everything changes. Because when fear is overcome by knowledge, care becomes lighter, health becomes a priority, and prevention stops being a burden and becomes a smart choice. You deserve to live with peace of mind. You deserve to look in the mirror and know that you're doing your part, that you're protecting yourself, that you're making decisions with awareness and self-love. If any symptoms appear, even if they seem minor, such as difficulty urinating, frequent urge to go to the bathroom, or pelvic pain, don't ignore them. Don't minimize them. Talk to a urologist, ask questions, inquire, demand the right tests. Take care of your body as if you were taking care of your own life, because that's exactly what you're doing, preserving what's most precious to you. And the sooner you act, the greater the chances of avoiding painful treatments, invasive surgeries, or irreversible situations. You have the power to choose a future with health, quality of life, and peace, and there's no reason to put it off. After all, now you know the truth, and it's by your side. If you've made it this far, congratulations. This shows that you really care about your health and want to avoid problems before it's too late. I'd like to invite you to leave a comment saying that you watched the full video so that I can get to know you and see who is truly committed to taking care of their men's health. Also, check now to see if you're already subscribed to the channel. If you're not, click the subscribe button. If this content opened your eyes, please leave a like and share this video with other men you love. It could save a life. Most men only realize that something is wrong with their prostate when it is too late. In the first pinned comment, I left a link to a playlist that can prevent this from happening to you. Watch it now before it is too late.